Welcome, everyone, to a brand new TV show spoiler review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg, and today I am giving you my spoiler review and breakdown of season 3, episode 6 of the HBO show Euphoria. I've already broken down the first 5 episodes here on the channel. Love covering this show every single week for you guys. I even a couple years ago was doing week-to-week breakdowns for season 2 as well. So if you guys are new, subscribe and also please hit that like button, guys, down below. Really helps get new viewers here who are trying to get me to 500 subscribers. Really mean a lot to you guys to subscribe. And let's get into season 3, episode 6, Stand Still and See of Euphoria. So I'm just gonna come out straight, tell you my thoughts instantly here. I am completely off the boat here on this show. Not that I think this is like the worst season of television I've ever seen, or I just have no emotions now with the show. And that's deflating for me because, again, the first 2 seasons are some of the best 2 seasons of television I've ever seen. I adore the first 2 seasons of the show. And if you know me personally, I could not stop talking about what season 3 would look like, when we're getting it, all of these things. I would follow every little story revolving around, like, I care deeply for the show. And then you had all those negative reviews come out over the first 3 episodes, and I did not mind the first 3 episodes. Like, I didn't think it was the great, but I thought it was good enough. Like the first couple episodes of the season, I was like, that was, especially episodes 2 through 4. I was like, this is fine. This is good enough for me. I just think we've completely fallen off track, and the stuff we're following just doesn't interest me anymore. Um, there are still great performances. I think Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney in particular have had really strong seasons acting wise. And I do think, and this happens to a lot of people love Zendaya so much, and so do I. Zendaya has won an Emmy for each of the first 2 seasons here of this show, and she deserves it. She's a fantastic, and she's great, especially, excuse me, in this episode. She is unbelievable in this episode, I do believe. It's easily for me her strongest work of the season. Now, I do think people begin to think, well, because Zendaya is that unbelievable, it makes the show good or great. I disagree. I've seen a lot of shows and movies where performances can be fantastic, but the overall product is whatever. And that's how I feel about this show. I don't hate watch the show. I'm not rooting against the show. I'm not like, this is embarrassing television. But I'm at this point, I'm done even being frustrated. I'm kind of accepted this is what the show has become now, and it's not for me. And that is how I feel on the whole. There are moments, there are sequences, there are little character moments that feel like great stuff from Euphoria, but I would say like a good like 75 to 80% of the show has now not been really for me anymore, which as someone who's covering the show on a week-to-week basis, and again, I love doing it, it's deflating. Like when I would start watching the season, like I would be like pumped and dying for 9 o'clock to hit so I can watch Euphoria on HBO Max. And now I like, not that I struggle to turn it on, but now I'm like, all right, it's Euphoria. Let's turn it. Like I don't feel any emotions or excitement now when I turn on these episodes. So this episode opens with the backstory for Alamo, which includes the wonderful Danielle Detweiler, who plays Alamo's mom. We go through the relationship that Alamo's mom had in her life. And again, I love Danielle Detweiler. I think she is a terrific actress, and what material she was given, she made the most out of it. But I thought they did a good job explaining where Alamo grew up, what his situation was, the lessons that he was being taught, and how to get himself out of those particular situations. I thought it was very effective. This is what Euphoria was, especially in the first season, which was giving backstories and that set up things that happened in the episode. Now, Alamo's not really in the episode other than that. And so I think there could have been more of like Alamo to present day Alamo in the episode throughout to connect the backstory. But the actual backstory was good. And that's what Euphoria does great, is giving connective backstories that tie into an episode very well. Now, I don't think this backstory tied in at all to the rest of the episode, but it just shows you where Alamo has come from and where he is today. So I thought that was very well done. It was great to see Danielle Detweiler. Do I wish there was more of her on the show? I wish there was an opportunity to get her in more episodes, but of course, this is definitely the only bit we're going to see of her on the show. So we set up this big meeting towards the beginning of the episode between Lori and Alec. The first 30 minutes of this episode was just this part of the episode, which was just Alamo stuff. So Alamo has this meeting with Lori, and Lori needs this particular drug moved, and she like recommends like Rue to do the whole thing, and he's like, I don't even trust her enough, so it's your stuff, but it's just my people who are going to be going after this. And then Alamo gives that warning to Lori that if you ever so clinched feeling that you're going to turn on us, it's not going to really end well for you guys. We also get more Faye in this episode. She doesn't really seem to want to help out Rue when she's in that under the dirt in the beginning of the episode. And Rue invokes Fez and was like, "Your ex-boyfriend got him in prison, and he had your back, and he obviously has my back. So you need to help me out in this situation." So Faye helps out this like the safe to figure out how to steal the safe while they were all gone. It looks like Rue is going to be running this whole operation because when she got the key, like Alamo gave it back to Rue. So it's like Rue wants to see this through. But the cops go to Rue later in the episode and are like, this is a great job. These people are never going to see the light of day again, and now your sentence will go down much more favorably. So Rue finally is starting to feel, I would say, better about things that are going on. She has, I think, some of the best acting for Rue was a couple particular scenes. One with Jules, one scene again with Hunter Schafer's Jules, and Rue's just kind of thinking about her life and is saying, I just want regular American problems. Like, want to have a kid, want to be in a relationship, want to, wake up one day with someone that I love, and who keeps me in check and all of those things. And Rue, basically flat out says that she wants that to be Jules. And Jules is like a total like douchebag, in my opinion, in this scene. Like she's like horrible to Rue. Again, Rue is like, this is not a real life. Like this is fantasy. Like it doesn't matter that the guy you're sleeping with, his wife's cool with it. It's like this guy's gonna leave his wife for you, and this is your life forever. You're literally in a prison. Yes, a wealthy prison, but you're basically being told to stay here all day, talk to no one, and just paint. And Rue says that's just not a life worth living. And Jules just slaps Rue, and the painting falls on her, and she tells her to get out of the apartment. And the quiet acting from Zendaya in the elevator going down, I thought was really well done. But again, all the stuff with Hunter Schafer could work if she's in the show more. She has basically one scene an episode. Outside of the wedding episode, she has barely been in this series. And this is someone who's not like the biggest Jules fan, but they did set up a really fascinating arc for her in the season. But she pops in and then she pops out, and it's not that interesting of a character because she seems very one-dimensional because she's showing up for 5 to 10 minutes in an episode. Talk about showing up for 5 to 10 minutes in an episode. Nate has one scene in this episode, and it's just him stomping on the flowers and getting beaten up by the henchman again. And that was it. That was his entire part of this episode. They have really, I am shocked that like Lordy read the script and was like totally cool doing this. Like this is some really bad writing to a character that was one of the most fascinating characters on the show, and they have completely derailed this character to a point where he's the like if they wrote him out of the show, I wouldn't be mad at this point because I just don't care what Nate's doing at this point. I gotta be honest. Like once they separate Nate and Cassie and the trajectory of what they set up with Nate, don't really care now what's going on with Nate. And that is a lot because he was my favorite character in the first 2 seasons to watch. But here we are in season 3, and it's a dumpster fire of a character now. So we'll get back to Rue later. I'll talk about the church scene towards the end of the episode because that ties into her final scene. Cassie starts working at the strip club. She, with doing the photo shoots at the strip club. But while that's happening, we don't get any scene of her being nervous at the strip club. She's not nervous who Maddie's working for. Any of this. None of that's in this episode. And I was like, what? Like, Cassie just walks in the strip club, shoots, and that is it for her. I was like, we're not gonna like get her being kind of nervous for walking in this environment. Nothing. Of course, why would there be? Maddie also has basically one scene in this episode where she's talking to Alamo and Bishop, and Maddie's like, I gotta take these girls, they work 2 days a week, and the only way we can get better is if they go, take some days off and go to find all these influencers and get, more eyeballs on them. And he's like, this is where the money is. Like, they aren't going anywhere. And then, Alamo flat out says, like, feels like I'm getting screwed over from every direction. And Bishop does stand up for Maddie and says, there are a lot of people screwing you over right now, but I don't think that person is Maddie Perez. And I was like, okay, so Bishop is, I think, out of the new crop of characters, to me, the most fascinating character of the new crop of characters here on the show. He is fascinating to watch. The performance, I think, is excellent from Daryl Britt Gibson. Hope I'm saying his name right. Excellent performance, and I am fascinated with Bishop here on the show. But that's all for Maddie. Cassie, we see her film the one scene, and things get derailed in the scene when the other actor brought up something about, it was a word that triggered Cassie into thinking about her wedding night and the fact that Nate got beat up, all these things, and she kind of improvs the scene. Sharon Stone's character and the other people who work for the movie like let the scene go on, and they're kind of like excited because it was a completely new direction for the show. Like, and the people are like, this doesn't fit this at all, but it was great. And then Cassie has this meeting with Lexi and Patricia, who's played by Sharon Stone, and obviously Lexi is trying to crap on Cassie and derail this whole thing. She's like, Cassie's working on OnlyFans. They're talking about all these catchphrases that you use for OnlyFans people. And Cassie's taking like the innocent route, of course, and she's like, you know how people treat me now because of this. And she's trying to turn her life around, and be seen in a better light. And Sharon Stone's character, Patricia, is like, this is your chance to save your life. Like, delete your OnlyFans, and we can start building out your career. And Lexi was very surprised by that. And Cassie's very pumped. The role is going to be a much bigger role now than just applicant number one or whatever they said she was. Now, Patricia does try to help Lexi here. It says, you write the progression for her character. Seems like Lexi just wants to kill off her character. We'll see if that's like okay with Patricia, and maybe Cassie's stardom derails Lexi's career, or they help each other. Um, but Cassie goes through this whole mental breakdown of having to delete her OnlyFans account. Like, she's like practicing pressing the button. It was very well done by Cindy Sweet. She's like practicing to press the button. And she eventually does. She deletes her OnlyFans account, and we know that is going to be a huge problem because it was very surefire money coming in, not just for her, but for Nate. But the more important thing is that she obviously signed that contract with Maddie last week on the show, and she did not look with anything that was signed on the paper. Like, she didn't look at anything that was written on the paper. Now, I thought that would come more into factor on who she's working for, like the Alamo of it all. But now it seems like they're moving in the direction of the fact that wants to drop her, OnlyFans career and move completely into Hollywood and become a real actress. Now, I'll say this, is that I don't understand where this has come from, where Cassie now wants to be like a actress now. I like the idea of she wants to be the talk of the town. She wants to be famous. But acting talent is different. They're kind of making it her transition into like being a good actor like very quickly. Like, she has never come close to wanting to be an actor on this show. And basically in 2 episodes, they're like, she's now a good enough actress where this whole movie studio is cool with writing this character into more stuff. A lot of things just happen. There's not a lot of time to explain things, just happen with a snap of the fingers. And that's a big problem for this season as well. So we know there's going to be a big issue with Maddie when she realizes that Cassie has taken down the OnlyFans. And Maddie is not going to be happy about this, but I don't think Cassie's going to have much to do because also I feel like her career is going to be on the line when she finds out that she probably can't quit OnlyFans. And then she gets sent Nate's finger, toe, whatever it was, from the guy. So now they know the people who are beating up Nate, they now know where she lives. So she's got a lot going on. But towards the end of the episode was the big cliffhanger where Rue has the scene at church where she's talking to her mom. We don't see the mom the whole time until the final line where the mom just says, I love you, and then that's it. It felt like a total reshoot. Like, it did feel like Rue was on that phone Zendaya was on the phone, and maybe the plan was for us to never see, Rue's mom in the episode. And then I don't know if there was backlash or anything like that. But all of a sudden now Rue's mom appeared for like just saying I love you, and I was like, give her more stuff to do. Like maybe the whole phone call could have just been back and forth. We could have heard the whole conversation. But it just felt like someone told him we have to put her in the show, and Levinson's like, oh, really? So I'll give her this one line to say. I was like, it was ridiculous. But Zendaya did a good job at the church trying to turn her life around. But things hit the fan because as she's talking to Bishop, Bishop name drops, Rue's mom. So Rue's gonna really have to go through this without being coming off of as a rat and survive this until the cops can arrest Alamo and Lori. So. Um, yeah, this is just not for me. I don't really care about the majority of the things. I'm so tired of Alamo versus Lori, and I am so tired of Nate being beat up every week. Lexi, underwritten character. Jules, really underwritten character. Um, I feel like there's like a billion subplots for two characters on the show, Rue and Cassie, and the rest of the characters are one dimensional. This show is a mess. It is like the first half of the episode was Western standoffs, and the back half was like Hollywood. Like it felt like I was watching 4 to 5 completely different shows going on, and it's totally a mess. The pacing is a mess. Um, this is a mess of a season. And that is just sadly how I feel. So that's my thoughts, guys, on this new episode of Euphoria. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon.